Welcome to another episode of Catch of the Week. I am with Özge Doğan from Karman Beyond and we will talk about family office. It's very exciting for me. It's an interesting topic, especially for Turkey, I think. But we met you in a very warm place in Dubai. Also, we met you in Istanbul, but we are now in a cold place in London. And yesterday it was snowing. So welcome.
Thank you, Ersoy, and thank you for having me on your podcast.
You're welcome. I know you well, but for our audience, can you introduce yourself? Who is Özge Doğan? What's your story?
Sure. I'm Özge. I'm graduated from law, and I'm 29 years old. So it's a little bit different when you look up the sector as a profile. But how I started with this story was because my family needed a better understanding of wealth management world. And we decided that we can do more diversified and expanded management with our wealth. And I'm the second generation. So the expectation from me was literally not to lose my family's wealth, what they built already, and add on to it. So I ended up trying to understand the wealth management world, finance world, discover the other geographies where we can expand our horizons. So I ended up talking to private bankers, insurance companies, real estate people, London, Dubai, and it was an exhausting job, to be honest. And I figured out that I actually don't understand everything, and it's not possible to understand everything. So someone in London told me that what I'm trying to do is like acting like a single family office. So this was how I found out what is a family office is. And then I called my dad saying that, "Hi Dad, I'm not coming to the office," because he's also a lawyer and I was supposed to be the successor. I found something else and I think it's really exciting and it's needed in Turkey. And then ended up here after 2 years. I'm trying to build my multifamily office and we're going well.
Okay, great. And what does multi-family office mean? And how did you decide? I mean, you told me this story, but I mean, what was the missing part? What made you excited? And the name is so interesting. What does Karman Beyond means?
So basically, a family office is a professional team or a structure that focuses on maintaining, growing, and preserving families' wealth. And by wealth means it can be as far as go to literally your art, your houses, your aircraft, your yacht, your liquid assets, illiquid assets, all of your relationships within the countries. And it can expand if the family is big, managing every individual's relationships and needs and wealth management, asset management type of needs, but also it is literally focusing on the family, and the main solely job is to preserve the family's wealth for future generations. And multifamily offices are, until today, it was more like a couple of families come together because they are, first of all, building a family office and maintaining it is costly because you need a team, you need to be operating. And according to some reports, especially in US and Europe, above 500 million investable assets, if you're managing that, your cost per annual will be 1.1 million to 6.1 million. So it's not an easy job. So a couple of families come together because they're already investing in together or have this long term of relationship, friendship, etc. They are coming up with less amount, but together it's major. So they're investing in together. But what we crafted was independent multifamily office, because what I detected back in my country, in Turkey, is that people need a better understanding of what a wealth management is. And you don't have to be 100 million family, 200 million family, or 100 million family, 500,000 million family. You can have less amount and you still be needing these services. And it will be costly for you to set up a single family office. So instead of going through this journey alone, if there was a source you can get help with, according to understanding the wealth management world, or what can be done to preserve your wealth for future generations, it would be so easier. And I was trying to understand it for my family, and I couldn't find one source who will be helping me out to understand and actually not have a conflict of interest with my own values or my own outcomes as a family. And then it's not easy to talk the family dynamics with everyone. So I wanted to just, find one partner who will understand, and couldn't find it. So I got back to Turkey and said that what we will do, it will be independent multifamily office, which is we will act like as their single family offices for each family. So will be all independent from each other. The strategies will change according to the family's needs and requirements and current situation. And whatever they want and how much they want to be involved, they will be having an exposure to this world, and they will understand better. They will make informed decisions, and they will be able to have a controlled mechanism on their future.
And the name.
Yeah.
Karman issue is important, because when I hear Karman Beyond, to be honest, I was thinking something like about meditation, yoga.
I'm so happy to be able to literally answer this question alive, because Karman line is where the world's atmosphere stops and the space starts, but it's still in the stratosphere. So whatever gets you to Karman line doesn't help you go beyond Karman line, but you think that you're still in the stratosphere, so you don't understand. But the math, the physics is changing. And I think in Turkey, many families are trying to understand or having a hard time being able to detect what is the Karman line for them and why they can't cross over the Karman line and explore the space itself maybe and get bigger and grow better. And I think what we do in Karman Beyond Multifamily Office, we literally understand where is the Karman line for individually, for specifically for that family, and help them out to cross, because like I said, the math is changing, the physics is changing, so the rules are changing, and there are different ways to handle, and then we are bringing experience and know-how, insight, access to them so that they can be able to cope with that line and cross it.
Wow, very interesting story. I really like your story, by the way, and you are a young entrepreneur, and there are lessons from this for maybe younger than you, that generally it comes from if there's a problem, if you cannot solve the problem, you solve it yourself. I moved from Dubai, and I read the story of Dubai chocolate. Nowadays, very famous. She didn't find the right product, so she made it herself. And also the other line, beyond the line, is also people have to get out of their comfort zone, or they have to think out of the box, not only people, but also the families. Okay, now I want to read more real-life stories like you. You talk to many families, many Turkish and global families. What are the main challenges, problems they see? What cannot they do? You have lived your own problem. Did you see the same problem in other families also?
To be honest, in the world, the families are not that different. It's just sometimes the cultural nuances are being affected and effective. And what I see most of the time above a certain level, it's not that much important. It is still really important, but not much effective on the wealth management itself, the asset management side, but it's more about family dynamics and being able to manage the conflicts within the family or understanding the priorities and etc. And I am, just like you said, traveling all around the world and speaking with single family offices, wealth managers, multifamily offices, all the other type of people who is providing families help regarding to different aspects. And whenever I speak to the families, it's the same. They are trying to preserve the wealth for future generations. They're trying to make sure that the second generation will handle it smoothly. And there's a third, and I was talking with a European family who literally passed now actively to seventh generation.
Wow.
And they got back to me and told me that it's easier after fourth. And I'm like, yes, but it's how are we going to get there? Yeah, because Turkey has a poor record of preserving wealth. Unfortunately, we tend to lose our 70% of us tend to lose their wealth on the second generation, and 90% loses on the third generation. Wow. So obviously there are things that we should learn and do more, but it's relatively a new country when you compare to the other jurisdictions, and we just started and we are growing. And the UBS presented that 43% of high net worth individuals number will increase in the next 5 years. And according to Knight Frank, we were the second highest country who has a growth, 9.7, and one of the fastest ones above US and India when it comes to increase in wealth, private wealth. So I think there's hope, and I think Turkey is doing great and then growing, and the second and the third generations are coming, and we will be doing better, but we already have to learn some lessons from other families who've been there, done that before.
Okay. I want to get into more details in international families, but focus more on Turkey now, because family office concept is, it's fairly new. And how does it work? Does families come to you or you go to them? And if they have a problem, how do you help them? What kind of team do you have?
So we are directly not going to the families. They are coming to us to understand what they can do more and how they can preserve. So mainly we have 3 different angles that we work with families. Either they want to understand the wealth management world better and diversify, where we end up helping them to craft a strategic asset allocation and understand what is going on in the bigger frame, what is risk management, and how are you exposed to what kind of risks. And this is under the Beyond Wealth section. Or they are looking to get more global, and either gonna have invested in other countries or explore the other worlds, what's going on, and then wants to buy an international, multinational asset, etc. They have a problem with securing the wealth for future generations, which we call beyond generations. And you need to understand, when it comes to second gen or the third gen, the dynamics are changing and the problems are changing, because when you are talking about the founder generation, there's only one decision maker or 2 at the most with the uncle or the other family in the business, and they are deciding everything. They're crafting everything from zero, and they're great entrepreneurs, so here we are. But in the second generation, the family is getting more complicated. There are now more decision makers in the process. Some of them sometimes doesn't even want to involved, but still the part of the family and the family inheritance. So those conflicts are happening in the second gen. In the third gen, maybe numbers are getting to 20, because now you have cousins, your kids are married again, and you're raising other children, etc. So family governance plays a huge role. And I think the other one is the estate planning and succession planning, specifically in that line, because the second generation and the third generation wants it to be more planned, especially while the elder generation is still in decision-making power and wants to be able to, the Succession. Everybody watched that TV series. If you didn't, please go and watch. And it is real life stories, and we have all around the world, but we also have in Turkey too. So those are the places where we help to families regarding to expand their horizons a little bit more, either within the Turkey or outside of Turkey, and help them get more global and have them have access and have the information. And also we help them to understand what is family governance and how you can ensure a smooth transition to the next gens.
Okay, I also mentioned about true stories, and you like to tell them, but really, if I watch a movie, if it says based on a true story or a TV series, you're more interested about it. Okay, I know that you travel a lot for leisure or mainly for business, but mainly I see you go to Dubai, Middle East, London, Istanbul, Turkey. What other countries you are also traveling, or are you mainly focusing on these countries? And what are the, how can I say, differences between them? For example, recently, because of either tax reasons or economic reasons or sometimes weather reasons, people either move themselves to other countries or move their money either from UK to Dubai or from Turkey to some other US. What are your observations about different countries and different legislations?
I think today's world, it's a global world, and I don't think that you have to choose either this or that. You can be in everywhere, and you can be investing in different jurisdictions at the same time. You don't have to literally move out to do anything anymore. But yes, people are now in a level of being able to have options, especially for the last couple of years. You know how popular the residency, getting a citizenship from another country or living abroad is, and people are choosing for different reasons. Some of them is for jurisdiction or legal reasons. Some of them are for literally living in a better place for their self, for their choices, or sending them their kids to the schools. And those are really personal choices. So every family has their personal choices, and what we see most of the time, they are aiming to be global. They don't want to only stay in one location. They want to be active, and they want to catch the opportunities, and they want to be diversified enough to being able to, plan their future accordingly. So this is the trend right now, but this was also need, not a trend, but this is a need. This is a necessity when you are, doing a job for more than 40 years and build a wealth that needs to be taken care of. This is the need.
Yeah, I also observed this. I mean, according to the people, their business or their lifestyle, sometimes their hobbies, or because of their children, they live in different cities. They don't live only in one city, so that they can manage. And also work from home also help this a lot. Okay, so we are in London now. What brought you to London? And I know you attended a conference, and how was it?
It's great, and my life is right now in between Dubai, London, and Istanbul, because we also have a team in here. 2 people from our team is based in here, and London is the finance world. And after the budget, it's still complicated. It's getting complicated, but it is still London, and then it's really important, I think, for having a foot in the region permanently, not only once in a while, but you have to be established here so that you can be in the heart of what's going on. But I'm recently flying also again for the same reason, because many institutions, big events are happening in London. And I was here literally last week for Financial Times Wealth Management Summit. And then this week for Global Private Capital Association's one-day summit. And I was so lucky to be able to talk about next gens. Many events are there's a huge wealth transfers coming up, and every private bank, financial institution, anyone in the sector is trying to understand the next generation, how they will invest, what type of relationship and communication we should build with them, because at the end of the day, most of their parents are the clients, but it's harder to interact with the new generation as they come with their own values and as they come with their own network and own understanding of what wealth is and how to manage it. And because there's not much option in the sector right now, which is woman, which is young, which is not coming a financial background, but running a multifamily office, which is also independent, and it's also not something really heard of. I get to be lucky enough to take their attentions, and I'm mostly speaking about next gens and how we invest and what a family office approach would be to wealth management and how you should be looking also to your wealth. And yeah, I'm traveling because of those reasons, and I really enjoy doing it because I think most next gens should be heard and should be taking the stage. It will be easier. Yeah.
Well, I admire you and congratulations. You are doing a great job. I am following you for a long time, and By the way, you are very active recently, especially on LinkedIn or social media, which I learn and I read a lot. You go to many events. And what's your aim? I mean, I see you as like a thought leader or a key opinion leader in this segment. And I'm glad that everybody is opening the doors to you, maybe not because you are young and female, but also because of your leadership. So what's your aim and what are you trying to reach?
I think I'm trying to help more next gens to be able to understand wealth is not a privilege, it's a responsibility. And there's different nuances that I get to learn in the way. And especially countries like us, where just the wealth accumulation is happening and we are just seeing the second and the third generations, we are at the point, such an important point that we have to, I want to see more families preserving their wealth, for sure. And I want to help more next generations to be on helm and help their family and navigate their wealth in the way that they want to, because I know by person how hard it is to explain your parents that's something you want to do, but it's a little bit more different than what we are already doing, or risky, or in a different jurisdiction, etc. And most of the time, the missing part is the information, the know-how and the access. So I want to bring this to more families so that they can have a control in their future and can make independent but informed decisions about how they will, invest their wealth, or how they will manage their wealth, who to work with, etc. Because we're not asset managers or portfolio managers. It's being mistaken most of the time. We are there to help only to families so that they can understand and they can decide their path. But I think this is my bigger vision, and I think this is needed in also other countries where the development is just happening. I can proudly say that we onboarded our first Pakistani family.
Oh.
And I can't talk about my families because the core at my job is privacy and confidentiality. But they're in second generation. The second generation family members, the man who reached out to us was only 25 and went to US and studied there and come back, and then just want to add more to value to their family. And that's the expectation from the parents as well, like bring something to the table, something different than we are doing, and then drive this, because you will be the next in line as in leadership with the family. So I really enjoy when I get to help them to drive their family into a better future. I find joy in this, and I think this is a great purpose to work for. And I want to expand this to the other countries where there's a need for it, because I think it's all about the family, and you have to understand the family, and you have to understand where they're coming from. And we're living in a more sophisticated world right now, where you can choose and you can personalize whatever your core values are according to them. And also there's a difference between asset management and wealth management. And there's a difference between private wealth and corporate wealth. So Turkey has 95% family-owned businesses. And there's two ways of accumulating wealth. Either you will have a great business, you will grow, and then you will literally save and invest, and then you will have this personal wealth on your hand. Or it's a sudden wealth happening, which is you can inherit, or you can sell your business, or you can exit if you're an entrepreneur. And both worlds, it's harder to manage the wealth itself, because you need to be professional, you need to be not emotional, you need to understand. So I want to make sure who is just getting their story there, who is in the beginning of their story, I want to make sure that they understand the differences and understand the perspective of wealth management and risk management and what they can do. I want them to literally understand their potential and make the best out of it.
Okay. When you're talking, I can understand your joy, and from your eyes are shining. You're mentioning about this Pakistani family even, which means I felt that when you get a job, you feel like you're one of the family members. So you're solving there, but from the inside, which is very nice.
No, my job is so we are 8 people now, and my team is highly senior and highly educated. I'm so lucky to be able to work with such a team. Our head of research, Alev, I always call her my super Wonder Woman. Zeki is our head of finance, who used to be the old CEO of Garanti Bank Portfolio and Investment. And I'm just so lucky every day. I'm begging God or like anywhere in there that I'm so lucky. But I really love to sit on the family side, understand the family itself, and then being able to bring it to the team with, my understanding of that side, because I'm also coming from the same side. And I know how hard it is. I know the nuances in there. I relate with them. And I think it's the best way to do your job. And the team handles the rest because they're so good at their job. So this is the dynamic.
Yeah, I think you are lucky because I know these names, and Mr. Zeki Shen is my ex-boss and Alev is my ex-colleague. So you are lucky and I'm lucky to know you. Okay, I will keep the last question to the end, your advice to the families, but let's have a little bit more fun because the name of my podcast is Catch of the Week, and the reason is that I have two big hobbies. One of them is fishing, the other one is basketball. In both of them, I have to catch something. So I thought this week I want to catch this idea. So this week it was family offices and you. Do you have an hobby that you like, and do you have time for your hobbies? And how does this also support your business? Spending time with other people or with other things?
I really enjoy. I used to play tennis. I started to play again, and I have a friend who encouraged me to do so because he's playing for the last 18 years, and I really enjoy spending time with my friends. And I have different friends in different locations, different jurisdictions. I was even at a kind of a private dinner last night with 20 other next gens.
Wow.
So because my job is kind of my hobby and my hobby is turned into my job, I get to hang out with great kids all around the world. And I am hoping that I can bring this. Also, we have so many great Turkish next gens in the country. So this turned into my hobby. I like connecting them together. I like introducing great young minds to other great young minds so that we can all be hustle and then we can all thrive and then applaud each other. So this became my hobby, but I also have other ordinary hobbies, I guess. But yeah, seeing around is always good. I am again lucky to be able to travel this much and call it work. And I try to add 1 or 2 days at the end, and I am begging to have a reason. I'm really wanting to have a reason. Please, someone called me from Asia, Japan, Hong Kong, those locations, okay. Singapore. I'm looking to, go there in United States. I have never been to those locations, so I'm looking out to find a reason so that I can add maybe 10 days into that at the end of the business trip to just explore and understand the culture itself.
You mentioned about Asia. First time in my life I went to Singapore. Last month I was really amazing. So I recommend Singapore. Okay, anything you want to add? Because sometimes, I have many questions, but sometimes I forget. This is the time, as Ersoy, people should remember or key takeaway message. And also I want to hear your message to the audience or family offices who are struggling or who never thought that it will happen to them, because sometimes you never think things may go well, but sometimes it happens. So what are the mistakes that they are doing? So a little wrap up. So it's a long question, but
sure.
Key takeaway message to the family office.
Sure. I always think that nobody's, when you get an exam, you don't mark the right question, the question wrong by knowing that it's wrong. The option that you choose, you think inside that it's right, but at the end of the exam, you see that it's wrong, and by the time you wouldn't know it. So I always encourage families or individuals to explore what is out there, what is more, and then just understand your own situation and try to do it better. And what I see the most with the families is that, just like Karman line, what our parents or the second generation, they did some great investments, they did some great entrepreneurship and they built these businesses. and they ended up doing really well. But world is changing really fast, and wealth is not only your business. Wealth is not only your money. It's bigger than this. It's a culture. It's a legacy that you're forming up. It's your soul. It's everything that you build until the day with your family. So I think they should understand that being professional and being independent helps a lot. And the third party help can also navigate them through these challenges, because everybody is living that challenges. It's not only you. So just understand what can be done more today's world, and always do not lose that spirit inside of you to discover and understand. That would be my advice to the families. And for entrepreneurs, I will be talking in Urfa, JCI Avrasya, this Friday. And I'm literally last night in our private dinner, there was a friend, and she explained, she sold her business 9 figures to Spotify, and she's such a successful young entrepreneur. And she explained that I didn't know what to do after I exited, because I only know, I'm not coming from a wealthy background. I only know, to work and to build something, to create something. And I am getting bored, if I'm not doing that. And then she became really successful, exited it in a really nice way with a deal with Spotify. And she ended up saying, what am I going to do next? And she said that I wish I understand more of wealth management. And I also hear this, some of the Turkish people in the Turkey landscape saying that some of the entrepreneurs are exiting and they need help when it comes to understanding how to manage itself, because it's now a liquid asset in your hand. You don't have a team, you don't have the office. It's just that. And if you can be smart with it, it's a great way, great achievement. But if you do unplanned, unstrategized moves, then it can be, a disappointment. So that would be something I also encourage people to look from that perspective.
Okay. Thank you, Özge. It was a great conversation. I learned a lot also. And for our audience, don't forget to follow Özge Doğan and Karman Beyond. You are very active in LinkedIn, but maybe we can put your website.
Sure.
Any other are
no,
you active?
We mainly do LinkedIn and website, and that's it.
Okay.
And I'm quite reachable. So anyone who wants to talk more can reach. Anyone who wants to suggest, literally, I'm a foodie, so anyone who has opinion about where to go, what to go in the places that I'm traveling, would love to do that. I travel a lot also with my team too, because we're flying everywhere for families, and we literally decide our hotel next to our food. Okay. So the food recommendations, please send it over my way. I'm dying to eat and taste them.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Ersoy, so much.
You're welcome. I mean, if you want to catch Özge, send her restaurant recommendations. She's mainly in Istanbul, Dubai, and London, but she wants to go to Asia and US. So these are some tips to you. Thank you.